Choose the tools you will need before beginning your wrap and load your full-strength tool handy wristband. Using knifeless tape and Geek Wrap's knifeless tape accessory tools makes it possible to add symmetry and contrast to enhance a design, especially on complex areas, even on a printed advertising wrap like this transit. Knifeless tape will be strategically installed on certain areas to ensure a polished install with no knife damage to the paint, plastic, or glass on the car. While it is preferable to remove as many obstacles as possible, this door guard is applied with a foam tape, so it isn't practical to remove it for installation. Wrapping over the plastic part before cutting will not only chance cutting the paint on the car when trimming, but a clean cut edge will be very challenging to achieve. It is also difficult to cut on this plastic with a knife without damaging the plastic part with razor cuts. Knifeless tape is the answer for a perfect cut installation. Apply the knifeless tape using Geek Wrap's knife tape reel and tool handy wristband. Starting in the middle, follow around the edges of the entire piece and again back to the middle for a start point. The ability to change and store tools on the fly in close proximity to your work area is very productive. With the plastic fender moldings removed, the knifeless can be installed in an even line just outside of the clip holes. This provides a clean line, an easy reinstall of the fender moldings, and a professional detailed installation. This also alleviates the chance of a knife cut on the paint starting undetected rust under the plastic moldings, which, if goes unnoticed, can lead to major damage over time. Avoid cutting on the glass, rubber moldings, and metal painted surfaces around the windows by installing the knifeless tape first. This will provide a good cut line, and pulling the tape helps release the vinyl so it's easy to lift for tucking it into the edges and around the plastic. Follow the window's edge around. The knifeless will not only make curves, but can also be turned 90 degrees. The top of the transit where the wrap stops is sometimes a difficult area to make a precise ending cut, especially when the ladder racks have already been installed. And due to the amount of water that can gather in this area, it is very important that there are no knife cuts or nicks in the paint to cause and accelerate rust. Knifeless is used to continue the design layout on the bumper, completing the overall wrap design. Once wrapped, you will see how the design takes shape and adds to the final design. It would be nearly impossible to freehand this design with a razor knife, and attempting it would compromise not only the applied vinyl, but the paint underneath as well. Placing the knifeless tape underneath the bumper ends the wrap with a clean design line, stopping the vinyl from going too low into an area that could potentially take a beating from rocks and debris from the road. The reason for placing the tape just slightly inside the black plastic of this fog light will become apparent later in this video. Post-heating the knifeless tape will guarantee a clean, sharp cut, especially on the corners. Post-heating is completed on all of the installed knifeless tape before moving on with the rest of the installation. Once the wrap is installed over your knifeless tape lines, use the Geek Wrap start stick to easily start the cut process on the knifeless tape. Keep the filament somewhat flat and close to the cut line, pulling in the direction of the cut until the entire piece has been cut. Remove the excess vinyl and the remaining piece of tape. Working the vinyl down as you remove the tape in a longer area will allow the edges of the vinyl to set properly without pulling back. The start stick can be pulled from either direction, which is convenient when working in tight areas. Notice the tape was applied just inside the rim so that it can be tucked into the plastic, leaving a clean edge with no white paint showing. Continue pulling all the tape from the bumper, revealing the design. Don't forget to remove all the extra tape before laying down and smoothing out the edges. Vinyl won't adhere very well to this complex plastic textured bumper cap, so applying the vinyl in 2 pieces using knifeless will ensure the vinyl remains in place with no stress for the life of the wrap. The knifeless leaves a perfect tailored cut line, adding to the overall professionalism of your installation. When cutting angles with the knifeless tape, the start stick can be used in the corners to make a clean, continuous cut on the angle. Cutting the vinyl with the knifeless tape on the plastic door guard allows the vinyl to be lifted slightly and tucked in with the hard edge of your squeegee precisely at the edge of the guard. When trimming, the knife is held perpendicular to the car, cutting the vinyl while the blade touches only the foam tape behind the guard, with no chance of nicking the paint or plastic while cutting a perfect, well-defined line around the plastic. Once cut, go over again with the hard edge of your squeegee to complete the area, and notice there will be no paint edges showing around the plastic. Trim the top with a knifeless like the other areas on the car, squeegeeing down the line after cutting for a flawless edge of the wrap. Keep the hood closed and apply the knifeless on the edge of the hood. Once the fender has been wrapped well past the knifeless on the hood, cut the vinyl and tuck it into the seam. This is good, especially on the transit in the headlight area, as it's not a simple task to remove the headlights for the installation, and the straight cut on the vinyl will tuck and hold on the edge of the fender. The hood can be lifted and the rest of the seam smoothed down. This procedure also works for trunk lid and hatchback rear fender areas on different vehicle make and models. This is a terrific technique for carrying a pattern, in this case it's the stripes, around the front bumper of the car. By using the knifeless from side to side on the stripes, just 2 small pieces of vinyl in a perfect line will complete the pattern. Starting at one side, work to the other side, lining up the stripes. The knifeless tape is repositionable so you can get the exact line you need for the top and bottom of the stripe. A small piece of white vinyl applied over the knifeless, cut and trimmed, and the stripe matches perfectly. Using GeekWrap's tools and techniques will help you achieve a high consistency of results on your wrap installations, which is important to your company's image and ultimately important to your business and your bottom line.